Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Even when we aren't living through difficult times, it can be hard to keep your mental health in check. BetterHelp can, well, help. It's an online therapeutic resource that will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional counselor, all from the comfort of your home. To get started, head to betterhelp.com/CinemaSins. Answer a few questions about your state of mind, and before you know it, you'll be matched with a counselor who will work with you. Oh yeah, and you also get 10% off your first month when you click that link below. Now, on to the show. Man, whatever state this is has absolutely no pride. And the designers of this license plate just said, F it, stick a small American flag on a white background and call it a day. Sure, we had a contest and little Timmy Jackson won our hearts with his extremely colorful and vibrant license plate, but he's dead now. I believe in nothing. Riding your brakes. The opening traffic scene suggests this terrible traffic happens every day, or at least enough days out of the year that Peter should have experience with it. Doesn't he know getting in this lane isn't going to work? Also, movie doesn't begin with a delightful musical number so that the people can cope with the traffic snarl. I mean, this is on you, Peter. You're the asshole here. And I'm supposed to root for you to steal money from your company later? Yeah, Michael's a complex dude, singing Ghetto Boys in the car, and then somehow being racist enough to lock his door when a black man approaches. But the guy he's worried about is selling flowers! You're expecting to get carjacked by a guy selling flowers? In this traffic? Misspelling the name of the actor in the credits. If you know this is going to happen, why touch the doorknob at all? Use a key to discharge the shock and or grab the knob with your jacket, which is in your other hand.
Corporate accounts payable, Nina speaking. Just a moment. Corporate accounts payable, Nina speaking. Just a moment.
Why does corporate accounts payable get this volume of calls, especially this early in the morning? If they're getting this much traffic, they're the ones that are probably getting in trouble.
If you could just go ahead and make sure you do that from now on, that would be great.
Let's go ahead and knock a sin off for Gary Cole, since he nailed this character so thoroughly we've been quoting him for years.
Well, I told Bill that if Sandra's going to listen to her headphones.
And while we're at it, here's one for Stephen Root. I might start adding sins for no reason if this movie keeps making me remove them.
We need to talk about your TPS reports.
God damn it, I don't care how annoying this place is. There is no fucking way two bosses would get this bent out of shape over a fucking cover sheet being missing.
Why does it say pepper jam when there is no pepper jam?
He says this and we're meant to empathize with him, but when he pulls the paper out, it's totally jammed. Save your anger for an actual problem that doesn't have a solution, asshole.
Sam, nah.
How big is Initech? It's shown to be a middle-sized company, and I'd estimate there are 40, 50 employees tops. So the fact that this lady can't pronounce Samir's name and doesn't know there's a Michael Bolton working there is some Class A bullshit.
Why don't you just go by Mike instead of Michael?
No way. Why should I change? He's the one who sucks.
Want to go to Chachki's? Get some coffee?
Oh, it's a little early.
No f***ing shit, man. Ain't no way that an establishment that's loosely based on TGI Fridays is going to open before 11 a.m. Maybe 10:30. And Peter just got here a little after 9. So you guys aren't going anywhere for a while. Might as well get started on those TPS reports.
Lumberg's gonna have me work on Saturday. I can tell already.
What business at Initech is so goddamn important that a mid to low-level employee like Peter would be needed for over the weekend? And I know Peter's getting the feeling, but it's early on f***ing Monday, man. Change Lumberg's mind or come up with an excuse. You've got plenty of time.
Hey, and speaking of problems, what's this I hear about you having problems with your TPS reports?
Yeah.
This is funny since it's at least the 4th time today he's been reminded by different people. But what the f*** do Michael and Samir care about his TPS reports? Why does Tom come running out of the building to warn these guys about the efficiency experts who are coming to evaluate the company? Couldn't he just wait until they got back? This might be serious, but it's not like run across a business park in your work clothes serious. And then he's still complaining about it openly in the office later, like he couldn't have delivered this news this way in the first place. I thought these assholes were concerned about being caught by the bosses while loitering. So what are they doing hanging around this cubicle yapping about bullshit right after they got back from an extended break? If anything, this looks like an awesome place to work, especially if they let you fiddle fart with your buds all day.
PC load letter? What the f*** does that mean?
This is an absolutely hilarious line reading, but the printer doesn't even appear to be on. We don't see the message Michael sees, and we clearly saw an error message earlier when Samir had a paper jam.
Tumors that are detected. Jeez, Lawrence.
Well, I'm sorry, man. I thought you want to see this.
Getting boners for breast exams.
Doesn't that chick look like Ann?
She looks nothing like Ann. 13 individual pieces of flair.
What would you do if you had $1 million?
I'll tell you what I'd do, man. 2 chicks at the same time, man.
Holy shit, Not only is this line hilarious on its own, the way Diedrich Bader looks so goddamn serious, and the fact that he has his answer loaded in the chamber at a moment's notice is one of my favorite parts of this movie. Take that sin off! Why does a beer-drinking young bachelor have a poster of a blood pressure apparatus on his living room wall?
I would relax. I would sit on my ass all day. I would do nothing.
Peter accurately describes what it's like working for CinemaSins all the way back in 1999.
Corporate accounts payable, Nina speaking. Just a moment.
Never mind the workplace nightmares. How's Peter supposed to get any sleep with that super bright light in his face? Jesus Christ, the nodder. This movie gets so much right about the American workspace that I find it uncomfortable at times. F*** the nodder! You know, Peter's presumably been shutting down his work computer every afternoon since he's been here. How does he not know how long this would take? And why didn't he start it earlier? Hell, if you leave it on and Lumberg comes by, he'll probably think you're still at work and in the pisser or something. Also, yes, we all remember those computers where you'd save and close all your files and the monitor would end up on a C prompt. Not looking this direction before you exit your cubicle. What kind of doctor, hypnotherapist, or no lets other people accompany his patient into the session? It's not like they're in couples counseling or anything. Peter's there about his fucking job. HIPAA was a thing back in 1999, damn it. Who the fucking are these people? Is this a group meeting? If so, why is Peter the only one talking? I thought this was his intake session. If Peter were going to sleep through his alarm, why didn't he just turn that shit off? Is he too hypnotized to even flip the switch?
Yeah, hi, it's Bill
How did Peter get to message number 3 already when he just pressed the button? Braided suspenders.
Anyway, let's get down to business, Michael.
You know, you can just call me Mike.
Wait, why does he suddenly want to be called Mike now? He didn't want to change before, but now he's got some efficiency experts who clearly love the idea that he's got the same name as their favorite singer, and now he wants to change? After falsely admitting he liked Michael Bolton's albums? F***ing read the room, dude! I know you might be nervous, but this is just stupid. Having ketchup on the table, but no mustard, barbecue sauce, or any other indelible condiment readily available for diners.
You know, I've never really liked paying bills. I don't think I'm gonna do that either.
The Trump family.
And then I want to go back to my apartment and watch Kung Fu. Do you ever watch Kung Fu?
This is the type of movie where if someone mentions anything, the other person is into it. Like when the efficiency experts interview Michael Bolton, they're the biggest Michael Bolton enthusiasts ever. And when Peter mentions Kung Fu, of course, Joanne is a huge fan of it.
I'm gonna have to ask you to go ahead and move your desk again.
I wouldn't put it above Lumberg to simply be f***ing with Milton, but seriously, what's the obsession with moving his desk?
No, I just came to get my address book. I'm not gonna stay. I got a phone number, Mike, that I don't want to lose.
This asshole just said he wasn't ever coming to work again, and he comes back to get a f***ing address book. Also, he won't lose Joanna's phone number? If he was so anti-work, he would have just gone to a Staples and bought a new f***ing address book. But because the movie has to happen, Peter goes back to his work for this. And you know how much I hate it when the movie gives itself reasons to continue.
I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work.
That's super funny, but if you do so little work in a given day, why did it take so long for you to leave your desk this past Friday when you were trying to avoid Lumberg? Oh yeah, the computer was taking its time, sure, but if you do so little that you estimate 15 minutes of actual work in a week, leaving your cubicle shouldn't have taken so much time.
It's not that I'm lazy. It's that I just don't care.
God damn, this character is infuriating. If you don't care, find something else, you f***ing hippie. Rock was never my bag, but you put on a pair of shoes when you walk into the New York Public Library, fella.
I have 8 different bosses right now.
Okay, so there's Lumberg, the guy who admonished Peter after Lumberg, and whoever called him after that guy. I know the movie doesn't need to show us every single boss for it to be true, but 8? Even if you included Michael and Samir, or the efficiency experts, and I don't think you can, how does Peter have 8 goddamn bosses? Putting yourself in your own movie and you don't even do one f***ing butthead voice? For shame. That goes for you too, M. Night.
Well, like Brian, for example, has 37 pieces of flair on today.
Even if Brian is your star employee who goes all out on the flair and personality, who counts all the pieces of flair when he's clearly wearing more than the minimum?
You do want to express yourself, don't you?
Basing your restaurant philosophy on Madonna.
Right, so there's 3 more people we can easily lose. And then there's Tom Sinkowski.
I decided to bring up this guy by name because the movie has established him as a character. He could easily have been in the 3 more people we can easily lose pile, but I get the sense people outside of this building, watching us, might care about Tom.
He's useless. Gone.
F*** those bobs, and accept 20 extra sins up your bob asses.
So, Milton has been let go.
We fixed the glitch. So he won't be receiving a paycheck anymore, so it'll just work itself out naturally.
I guess Initech loves lawsuits then? Sure, in a comedy movie that sounds funny. Don't pay the weird dude the balance of the 5 years he wasn't supposed to be on the payroll, but how long do you think an employee is going to work without a paycheck? And the confrontation you didn't want is going to happen anyway.
We always like to avoid confrontation whenever possible.
Sure, this shows how weaselly and dickless these efficiency experts are, but aren't they going to tell a whole bunch of people they're fired anyway? Why does it matter if you add one more? Where the did Dom go? He was sitting next to Lumberg and now he's vanished. I know we love seeing Peter come to work and lightly sabotage Initech, but how is it that he cares so little about work that he's now shown up for it twice since his hypnotherapy? It's like this movie is saying that the opposite of caring about your job is being an asshole at your job. He's supposed to do nothing. Doesn't all this constitute doing something? No matter how hypnotized you are, this parking job. Peter takes the door handle off, the one with the terrible static shock, and I'm sure that feels great. Someone will repair it in a couple of hours, but this makes it seem like it'll be permanent, and Peter's gotten the lasting revenge that the Stark name deserves. Parking in the accessible spot just because someone was a dick to your reserve spot. Why the did Peter come to the office just to gut a f***ing fish? I know the TPS reports are villainized in this movie, but this is just a dick thing to do. Peter's approaching the unlikability index of Tom in 500 Days of Summer, except he's being lauded for it. So Peter and Joanna love Kung Fu, and that's all they have in common, I guess. We don't see them having a real conversation until Peter talks about the Superman 3 scheme, and that's more about morality than it is a true connection. Man, this Tetris screen looks way different from the one we saw just seconds earlier.
I wasn't aware of a meeting with them.
Yeah, they called me at home.
Why does Peter care about the bombs, even if they like him? Okay, so you might be saying, well, Peter cares now because people see his value, but if that's true, why is he still being such a prick? Wouldn't he want to straighten up a little bit so he could take advantage of this new outlook? The movie's basically saying Peter doesn't care anymore, but man, is he excited about the new job opportunities he has at the workplace he hates.
Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
Peter actually hasn't been missing enough work considering his worldview.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
Hilarious, but why would the bombs be charmed by this bullshit? I know they think Peter could be challenged more, but showing up for f***ing work is number one on the f***ing priority list, right?
We're going to be getting rid of these people here.
I know Peter's getting a promotion, but why would they bother telling him who's getting fired? They tell him exactly the two people he works with and hangs out with, all so he can tell them they're losing their jobs and be willing to do the Superman 3.
That virus you're always talking about, right? The one that could rip off the company for a bunch of money.
Yeah? What about it?
Well, how does it work?
So Peter's ostensibly looking out for Michael and Samir, and while that's a nice thing, has his hypnosis worn off? It seems like he cares about his buddies and his employment status, or at least making some money, but I thought the Zen cured him of that, at least for the middle part of the movie.
This sounds familiar.
Yeah, they did in Superman 3.
Superman 3?
I don't know what happened to me at that hypnotherapist, and I don't know, maybe it was just shock and it's wearing off now.
Actual discussion about Peter's hypnotherapy that director Mike Judge had with screenwriter Mike Judge ends up in this movie.
We have to swear to God, Allah, that nobody knows about this but us, all right?
I don't care that Peter's all caught up in the plan. He knows that Lawrence is in the next room and the walls are thin enough to hear about this shit. Hell, what about the neighbors on the other side of the apartment that he's not friends with? Floppy disks. You remember them shits? They were way more temperamental than a f***ing CD-ROM disc, and that's saying something. I know we all love Drew and his O-face shenanigans, but he comes out of nowhere. Who the f*** is this guy?
Then as he's looking at her,
Yeah.
he decides he wants to live.
How in the ever-loving f*** did Drew hear about this Tom incident, especially in this much f***ing detail? Also, the wife comes home to see husband in the garage, clearly passed out, and doesn't think twice about that shit.
Things go well, I might be showing her my O face. Oh. You know what I'm talking about.
A guy wearing a green button-down shirt says this. This scene is pure genius. A bunch of working-class dudes murdering the copier that gave them so much pain in slow motion, complete with beat-down POVs, all set to the song Still by the Ghetto Boys. It's a mock epic masterpiece, but it also has a sense of real catharsis to it. It deserves a good 5 cents off.
Hey, what were you guys celebrating last night?
Wait, Peter told Samir that you were coming over right after the celebration, so you didn't have a question about it until now? Did you just walk through the door and start f***ing immediately?
I really can't.
Okay, fine. I'll tell you about it after we get dressed, go somewhere for breakfast, and by God, you better have a giant Pepsi in your hand when I finally spill the beans. Also, far too large of a fountain drink. If she's over 30 minutes away from the destination, where is she planning to pee? Spelling lose like loose. Also, who jumps to the 3 question mark conclusion, unless they're underpants gnomes?
How Lumberg her.
We're all going to find out later that the Lumberg he's talking about is a different Lumberg altogether. And this is some total f***ing bull. Nobody calls one guy by his last name and then a completely different dude comes along and they also call that guy by the same last name. You always have to make a distinction. Also, I don't care how drunk Drew is, he works for Bill Lumberg and he knows that he's a dickhead. Why would you throw out this name while describing the sexual exploits of Joanna, which of course are none of his business? Why would you say that name? Jesus, they went to a whole party and everything, and Joanna's got another Pepsi on the way back? I guess it could be the same Pepsi that she kept in the car, but then I'd say keeping your cold beverage in a hot car for any longer than 30 minutes is a sin. You can't win, Pepsi! Stop trying!
Yeah, I know him. He's my boss.
That's what happens when your entire relationship is based on kung fu. You somehow never talk about each other's bosses, their names, and the funny coincidences that you might find by having a normal conversation.
He represents all that is soulless and wrong.
Okay, so the hypnosis is officially worn off now? Roads with no markings on them.
I do want to express myself. Okay? And I don't need 37 pieces of flair to do it.
I'm glad the movie gives Jennifer Aniston something to do, but it feels weird that she didn't start wearing more flair just to avoid these conversations. And what initiatives did she take after their last conversation, where she seemed to genuinely want to express herself?
I always do that. I always mess up some mundane detail.
I know, comedy and all, but does this seem like something Michael would do? This is so true to life. I want to remove a sin, but both people on either side of Milton know what they did. They could have offered a sliver and given it to him. Even unpopular people get cake. But the idea that every single person in this office likes cake is also some bullshit.
Bill, we need you upstairs right away.
Wait, did this guy know that Lumbergh was coming down to troll Milton in his new workspace? Does Lumbergh get so much entertainment out of f***ing with Milton that he goes around telling everybody when he's about to do it?
I can't believe Joanna slept with Lumbergh. That's what I can't believe.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Even if Drew were a clueless asshole about the name Lumbergh, certainly Peter's best friends would provide more context, right?
You mean Ron Lumbergh? The Intertrode guy? The young guy?
Yeah, who'd you think I meant, Bill?
F***ing yes, that's what everybody thought. But I honestly can't believe that this group of friends never brought this up. When Peter was staring at her earlier in the movie and Samir was telling him to ask her out, why didn't guy they know who dated her ever come up? Especially when Peter actually started dating her.
Actually, that all depends.
What am I gonna do with 40 subscriptions to Vibe?
Why couldn't he just buy a bunch of other magazines in addition to Vibe? Wouldn't Vibe wonder why they're sending 40 of the same magazine to one guy? Why does Peter have this giant ass ashtray when we've never seen him smoke anything in this entire movie?
Peter Gibbons, you've led a trite and meaningless life.
Okay, has the hypnosis worn off now?
I don't know why I can't just go to work and be happy.
The thesis statement for this movie. So why did it take us nearly an hour and a half to get here?
If you could give it another shot.
This works. Peter suddenly gets cold feet about confessing to the Superman 3 crime and tries to reach under the door to retrieve the envelope. But after a couple attempts with his hands, he just gives up. Why not try and find something around the office that can reach under the gaping chasm of a door clearance? So Milton sets the building on fire and makes off with Peter's traveler's checks, and we assume that Peter gets off scot-free, since the evidence is burned. But it seems like the arson coinciding with the discovery of a massive scam would lead to an FBI investigation. And I don't see how Peter's closed bank account doesn't get scrutinized during the whole thing. And also, I know this is 1999, but no cameras. Peter laughs like a madman in front of a 5-alarm blaze that will soon be discovered to be arson. Also, not getting what you deserve. Also, Milton did this in broad f***ing daylight instead of at night. Where did the people go? Did he sound the alarm? This is a huge f***ing fire, man.
I think I know someone who might want this.
Yeah, but you're not going to seek out Milton, are you? Also, did Peter get a construction job with his neighbor Lawrence mere days after the office fire? He figured he'd need work after all that's happened, and this is what he decided on in like 24 hours? And it happens to have the clean up the remains of Initech contract?
Paper cuts. Now, they can be a bitch. Occupational hazard, I guess. But I'll bet it's been a while since you've had one, huh?
Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. People often forget that mental health is just as important as physical health. I know I do. If you're feeling like you need to speak to someone or you just need a mental health check-in, BetterHelp is an amazing online resource that allows you to do just that. Connect with a counselor in a safe and secure environment, and no, this isn't self-help. This is a real connection with an actual human being, and you don't even have to leave the house to do it. It takes about as much effort as watching a YouTube video to start your connection to BetterHelp. And hey, we can all watch YouTube, right? I mean, you're all the way at the end of this video. Once you get started, you can send messages to your counselor anytime, check out information that's relevant to your needs, and book your next appointment, all on the same page. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. Head to betterhelp.com/CinemaSins to answer a few questions and get paired up with a counselor within 24 hours. Get a whole 10% off your first month by clicking that link. Join over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/CinemaSins.
Do it slowly. The elevator. Yes.
Windows 98! Get Bill Gates in here!
Every single day of my life has been worse than the day before it. I mean, you're telling me that your life sucks. That means my life is god-awful.
This is grain, which any fool can eat, but for which the Lord intended a more divine means of consumption. Let us give praise to our Maker and glory to his bounty by learning about beer.
Hey, Steven, just checking in. What's up? Okay, I'm home.
You know, I did get it there, Bob, and at first I just threw it away. But then I decided that wasn't a grand enough gesture, so I made a replica of you out of straw, and then I put my lab coat on it with your memo in the pocket, and then I invited all the kids in the neighborhood to come over and light it on fire and whack it with sticks.
I think you forget all about him. Tell you what, why don't you go get the chair ready? I'm just gonna visit the men's room real quick, okay?
Oh, you can do that on me.
Oh, well, it's a...
And? So you gonna get another job?
I don't think I'd like another job.
So you decided to be a bum?
I'll just be Jules, Vincent. No more, no less.
No, Jules, you decided to be a bum.
But what if you were offered some kind of a stock option equity sharing program?
I am offering you the Knicks and chicks.
I'm going home. I ain't going out today. I'm going home. I'm going home because nothing's accomplished here.
Making bucks, getting exercise, working outside. It's sunny every day here. It's like manifest destiny. Don't tell me we didn't make it. We made it!
Want to hang out with us on a live stream? We don't care if you're on the toilet, in your mom's basement, or in the broom closet. Just put on some deodorant and join us during Sin Week 2021. March 22nd through 26th, we'll release 3 extra Sins videos and go live 4 times to hang out with you. All you have to do is become a Sin Club member at patreon.com/CinemaSins. Do it now! That way you're the first to learn about our evil plans. And if you join today, you have time to watch over 70 exclusive videos and podcasts. See you the week of the 22nd.